Happy Monday. So this week we're going to be looking at some more like real life kinds of problems having to do with slope intercept form. And it's going to lead you to a project that you work on this week. So this activity we would have done in class, and you would be eating Twizzlers. If you have Twizzlers at home, I suppose you could still do the whole thing. But I just collected some data already, so we're going to use that. So here's the data. In the first column, it's the number of bites, and in the second column, it's the length of the Twizzler after each bite. So we'll come down here to question 5, and you can fill this in as you go. State the independent variable. So that's the number of bites. It's basically what comes first, the number of bites, and then what happens, the more bites you eat, the smaller the length of the Twizzler. So then you're going to sketch a graph down here. For the project, it'll be done on Desmo, so I'll show you that in just a minute. But let's practice making the graph. So number of bites and the length of the Twizzler. And that's in centimeters. Okay, so here we'll count 0, 1, 2, 3. Notice I'm skipping a line from each, even after 0. You don't have to skip a line. And then we'll go 0 here, and the length goes to 17. Let's just count by ones then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We'll add 2 more lines, 16 and 17. And then 18. So 1 bite makes the length 17.4. Notice we don't have 0 bites on here. We're going to calculate that later. Oops, I just put that in the wrong spot. Let's erase that. Make this a little thinner. So here's 1, 17.4, 2, 15, 3, 12.9, 4, 10.2, 5, 8.1, 6, 5.2, and 7, 3. There you go. And then you could make a line that roughly connects the points. Now, the points are not perfectly linear, but they're pretty darn close. So you can estimate by drawing a line of good fit. So you estimate, you take a ruler. I can't really do a ruler on here. So we will just estimate here. Now let's go to Desmos. So let me show you how to type this into Desmos. So you can do this on your phone or on the computer. You're actually going to share this with me. So let's see. So the first thing you need to do is you're going to type in the table. So you do that by pressing the plus sign, table. So you have 1, 17.4. So you can do this right along with me, and you're going to turn this same file in to 15, 3, 12.9, 4, 10.2, takes a little time, 5, 8.1, oops, forgot the point, 6, 5.2, 7, 3. Okay, now you'll see that you don't see every single point. Well, why is that? Oh, well, the window isn't fitting. So you can actually use your fingers to zoom in and out, or you could go to the wrench. I'm going to have you go to the wrench tool anyway. So here, the x-axis, you want it to go to about 10. And then I like to start a little before 0, just so there's a little margin. The y-axis, I'll go -2 to, and you don't really need to go above 20. Okay. And let's add a label. So the x-axis label is number of bytes. And the y-axis is length of Twizzler. Oh, it's auto-correcting. Length of twirler. Twizzler in centimeters. And then don't worry about anything else there. So there's your line. So it looks pretty linear. If you look closely, it's not perfect. So now what we're going to do on your worksheet is number 8. So let's go there, and we're going to calculate the slope and then get the equation that will model this. So let's go back. All right, so pick 2 points from the table. One should be a low x value, and one should have a high x value. So I'm just going to pick the first and the last point in the table. 1, 17.4, and then 7, 3. Calculate the slope with the 2 points. Okay, so slope we know is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So 3 minus 17.4 over 7 minus 1. Now, we actually get a decimal in the fraction. So in this next step, divide. Usually we leave it as a fraction. Well, let's divide to make it a unit rate. Okay. So technically this is a correct answer for the slope, but just for the heck of it, let's write it as a unit rate. So divide, and you get -2.4 over 1, and we'll use that one as our slope. So now it says, what does the slope mean? Okay, so think of it, change in y, the units in the y is centimeters, right? So this is centimeters, and then the units for x are bytes. So that's the unit. You figure out the y over the x. So it means the Twizzler gets 2.4 centimeters shorter per byte. Okay, so that's the point. So a slope is a rate of some sort, and that's the rate. Now let's calculate the equation of the line like we've been doing. So we have y equals mx plus b. So the slope is, the m, -2.4x plus b. Now plug in either of the points that you listed up here. I'll pick 7, 3. Okay, now you're going to multiply. -2.4 times 7 is -16.8. And we want to get b by itself. So you add 16.8 to both sides, 19.8. So now the equation is -2.4x plus 19.8. Now we're going to check it on Desmos and actually graph it on Desmos. So let's flip back to Desmos. Okay. And now in line 2, you could actually type the equation. Y equals -2.4 x plus 19.8. And there it is. Okay. So that line shows for any number of bytes, even decimal bytes, how much of the Twizzler should be remaining. Okay, and then we're going to answer questions like, how many bites will it take to finish the Twizzler? Or what was the length when it started? Okay, so there's the graph. Now let's look at how to save this while we're here. So let's put it, so you're going to have to hit sign in or create account, either one. You can sign in with Google and use your school email. Didn't like that. There we go. And so then it'll sign you in. Then you can save the graph. So you have to sign in first, then save Twizzlers. And then the button next to your name is where you share. So you could copy that link and upload it or put it into a Google Doc, I guess, in your Google Classroom. And then that will give you credit for today's assignment. But let's finish by answering the questions on the paper. So I'm going to go back. And here you go. So number 11, what is the y-intercept? So the y-intercept, so let's write the equation on here again. Negative 2.4x plus 19.8. So you get it from the equation. It's the constant, so it's 19.8. And actually we write it as an ordered pair, 0, comma 19.8. It's when x equals 0, that's the value. And now think, what does it mean? The x is bytes, right? The x coordinate was bytes, that's the independent variable, and the dependent was centimeters. So the length of the Twizzler was 19.8 with 0 bytes, or that was the starting length. Okay, we graphed it on Desmos already. So now calculate the x-intercept. So the x-intercept is when the y equals 0. Remember that? So now take your equation, plug in 0 for y, minus the 19.8 to both sides, divide by negative 2.4, and x will equal, where the heck are we here? 8.25 bytes. So what does that mean? After 8.25 bytes, there's nothing left. So it takes 8.25 bytes to finish the Twizzler. Now let's calculate how long the Twizzlers are after 4.5 bytes. So bytes is x, right? That's how we defined it. So take your equation and plug in 4.5 for x. And put that in your calculator, and it should come out to 9 centimeters. And then we'll go to the last one. Use your equation to calculate how many bytes will cause the Twizzler to be 2.5 centimeters. So you have 2.5 equals negative 2.4x plus 19.8. And then let's get the x by itself. So we'll subtract 19.8. And that will give you negative 17.3 equals negative 2.4x. Then we'll divide by negative 2.4. And that will give you about 7.2 bytes. It was like 7.20 bytes. So you can actually look at your graph and see how all of these answers make sense. So here, let me just show you the purpose of the graph, Desmos. Okay. So you can see the x-intercept by clicking on the graph, 8.250. The y-intercept, 19.8, right? And you can even see like, let's see, in 4¼ bytes, it's about 9.6 centimeters, right? And so you can see all the various combinations. So that's it. Save your Desmos, go to share, get the link, copy the link, and then paste by Control-V into Google Classroom, maybe on a Google Doc, or if it lets you share a link, that would be good as well. So have a good day. Visit your extra help session or email your teacher. Bye-bye.